There's no doubt that coronavirus has affected every economy on the planet. But there's a huge disparity between how poorer countries and richer countries are able to deal with that. And that inevitably is going to have an impact on all of us, because we can't even begin to reduce the economic impact of COVID-19 unless we secure a truly global recovery that leaves no one behind. Let me explain. Since the pandemic began, wealthier countries have done some unprecedented things to keep their economies afloat. Things like contributing to people's salaries and wages through job retention programs, providing loans, tax relief, and cash grants to small businesses, or allowing people to put a pause on mortgage or loan repayments. Some countries can even print more money to support themselves. All of these things have helped ensure that certain economies don't totally collapse. But here's the thing. It doesn't work this way for a lot of developing nations. Why? Because they're having to spend a huge portion of their budget on debt repayments to private creditors and groups like the World Bank, which leaves little money left to invest in tackling the pandemic or protecting their own economies. And while wealthier nations are ripping up the rulebook with economic measures that were unthinkable before the pandemic, some poorer countries don't even dare to ask for a pause on their debt repayments because they might be penalized. It's a double standard that's just plain wrong. And it will lengthen the impact of the pandemic, which is obviously bad for all of us. The World Bank has done a good job in giving out emergency loans and funding for a vaccine rollout. But if the World Bank and other creditors allowed countries to take a break from their debt repayments, that would free up a lot of money for poorer countries to manage their COVID response. But by not pausing debt repayments, poor countries are denied one of the best and quickest tools they have to free up money and resources. A move which would really help countries properly respond to COVID-19. Because here's the deal, the pandemic has shown us how interconnected our world is. A wave of loan defaults by the poorest countries would impact the global financial system, and in turn the economies of G20 countries. So what happens to the economies of developing nations will inevitably impact the entire global market. But beyond facts and figures, this is a justice issue. We shouldn't be rolling the dice on people's lives. It's time to end this double standard and suspend debt repayments for the world's poorest countries. Because where you live shouldn't determine whether you live.